Hello everyone, I'm Lady Calamere. I welcome you to my channel. I hope you are doing great. I'm doing my 187th presentation and it will be on the Egyptian god Geb. So, God Geb, who is he? He is the firmament. He is the earth. In fact, the Egyptians even called the land the house of Geb. So we got two cards here. The first one is Wholeness, Creation of Sacred Purpose, Divine Parents, Nut and Geb, from the Anubis Oracle by Nikki Scully and Linda Starr, illustrated by Chris Wilder. So it's a journey into the shamanic mysteries of Egypt. The second beautiful card comes from this deck. This is Geb, and it comes from the Kemetic Tarot, based on the Egyptian book of Coming Forth by Day by Michael Coles. Very beautiful cards. You can get them on Amazon.com, eBay, maybe your local bookstore or cold store, New Age store has it. I do recommend getting these decks. They are absolutely beautiful and wonderful. So, Geb. So, where you see a lot of earth goddesses, he is the god of the earth. And so, he is one of the Heliopolis Ennead. He is, so you had Atum, who becomes Atum Ra, who impregnates himself, and the divine children come out, which is Tefnut. She's a she's a woman with a with a lioness head. She is the goddess of moisture. And then comes Shu, who is the god of air. Then they have children, Nut and Geb. So, Nut is the sky goddess. If you want to know more about the sky goddess, I did a presentation on her. And Geb is the earth. They are brother and sister and husband and wife. Geb and Nut, or later, they are so tightly embraced that there's several stories of why Ra wanted Nut and Geb apart. One was that he was angry at Nut because he was jealous and he wanted them separated. Others say because it was for the sake of creation. Either way, Ra ordered his Atum Ra honors his son Shu to separate Shu, to make Shu separate Nut and Geb. So it all depends on the stories of who Ra is a child of. Anyways, regardless who Ra is a child of, Ra orders Shu to separate Nut and Geb, and he did, as he was ordered. And he separates Nut from Geb. And later on, Nut gives birth through her incestuous relationship with Geb. Some stories say 4 children, many say 5. So the 5 children are Horus the Elder, which is Hor-ur, not to be mistaken with Horus, the child of Isis, Aset. So anyways, the children are Hor-ur, which is Horus the Elder, Asar, who many know as Osiris, Set, sometimes called Sutek, as well as Seth, Isis, who is a Set, Isis, and Nephthys, who is Nebet-Het. So we have Hor-Ur, Isis, Set, Osiris, and Nephthys. So anyways, when you talk about the divine pharaohs, you had Atum, then later on Shu takes on the throne, then in some stories Shu abdicates his throne, and in other stories, like in the Ptolemaic period, Geb forcefully removes his father from the throne. Either way, Geb takes over the throne and then abdicates it for his child Osiris, aka Asar, to take the throne as pharaoh. So Geb will sometimes be seen as lying down and underneath the sky. Here we see Geb here with the goose. Now, he is sometimes seen as a man with a goose feather on his crown. Others times a man with a goose head, or sometimes with actually a goose on his head, sorry. Other times he's seen as a goose. One of the things that Geb does is he lays the cosmic egg, and he cackles when he does it, so that's why he's called, one of the titles is the cackler, because he cackles when he lays the cosmic egg. He's also called Father of the Gods, Chief of the Gods, the cackler. He is also known sometimes as Seb, S-E-B, K-E-B, Q-E-B, G-E-B, G-E-B-B, K-E-B-B. So Geb, Keb, Keb, Seb, Geb. And Seb was E.A. Wallace Budge who translated it as Seb. Other sources say Geb. He is the god who deals with earthquakes. It is said when he was separated from Nut that he cried so many tears that he made the oceans and the seas, the rivers, the lakes. He is the god of all metals. He deals with caves, as well. His animal is not just a goose, but also snakes, that he is a god of snakes. He also deals with the dead, and he is also involved with the judgment of the dead, and it said that the dead go into the earth. He is a god of caves, god of gemstones. One of the particularly good stones to use with him is malachite, as well as agates. But stones and crystals come from the earth, so he is the god of that. He is the god of earthquakes. So he also wears several different crowns. One is the red crown of the south, of Egypt, of southern Egypt, which would be Upper Egypt. Then, south. It goes by the Nile flow, so south is Upper Egypt. He also wears the white crown of North Egypt, which is Lower Egypt. He also wears seen with the Atef crown, So it has a small sun disk, and on top with feathers on either side of this disk. He is sometimes even depicted with the Waz scepter. As you see, this is the Waz scepter. The scepter of power, the same scepter that Set eventually holds. And he also involves him. He's also a god that deals with justice and judgment. He is also involves himself during the fight, the tribunal between Horus and Set. So he is involved with that. So he deals with pharaonic power. He is the one of make who is a grower of crops. That's one of his other names, grower of crops. Where his body is seen with the fields of wheat, fruit trees, all types of vegetation. It is him that makes the harvest that is bountiful, and the cattle remain plentiful. So there he deals with plenty. He deals with food. He's also dealing with the god of prosperity. Hello, Miss Kitty. You almost knocked over this. My tripod stand. So he deals with accomplishment, and he deals with fulfillment, and he deals with integration, and he deals with completion. So here we see him as the world. He takes the place of the world card, or the earth card. So we also see he's holding a grain of sheaf. I mean a sheep. Holds a sheaf of wheat, a sheaf of grain, which is an offering of the bountiful harvest. I mean, bountiful harvest, not Horus. Bountiful harvest. He is also the god of the divine Apis bull. APIS bull. So his skin is sometimes seen as green, as well as even black. So those definitely his color, greens and blacks, because the black skin represents the black earth, which it was the black earth that was fertile. It was rich soil where the harvest, the grains and crops will grow. Fertile soil was black. Can you stop it, Miss Kitty, please? You're being annoying. I don't want you knocking over my drink. I don't feel like cleaning up more stuff today. So his sacred animal, or the goose and the serpent, as well as the divine Apis bull, And yes, he is Lord of the planet Earth. He is the Earth. He is the firmament. So he's also also deals with the chthonic deity. He's also deals with the earth that's underneath the Nile. Really? Come on, boo boo. You're trying to knock everything down. I don't want you knocking everything down, baby. You're being a silly girl. There you go again. Never ends with these cats. Always gotta distract me. Yes, I'm still in the process of moving. So some images of him represents, the trees, the rivers, and the mountains, or Geb's body. He's also represents the valleys of the earth. You're trying to keep me on my toes, baby. Now, Geb the pharaohs claimed that this god, Geb, was their ancestor and refers to their throne, their throne as the throne of Geb. Egypt was also called the house of Geb as well. So during the judgment period of the souls, if judgment was good, the righteous person's soul, Geb released the soul from the earth to continue her or his journey on to eternal life. Of course, Geb is also the grandfather of Horus the Younger, Heru as well as Hor, Hor, the son of Isis and Osiris. And also he's the grandfather of Anpu, Anubis, the son of Nebuchadnezzar, Nephthys, and Osiris. So I'm giving you the Greco-Egyptian names as well as the Egyptian names of the deities. Geb, I believe, means goose. So Geb is also sometimes depicted with an ankh, as well as the Waz scepter on the other hand. So sometimes he has an ankh in one hand and the Waz scepter on the other. So the ankh is also a symbol for him. Stop. In later times, during the Ptolemaic period, it was that Geb was a prince who was very impulsive and also in some ways seditious against Shu. And when Shu leaves the throne due to Geb, he basically forces Tefnut to be his queen, his mother as his queen, and which he does with her as she pleases. But as a pharaoh, he becomes good, and he is benevolent to the people. that he was a good pharaoh, and when the time is right, he abdicates the throne for his son Osiris, Asar. So Osiris is the Greco-Egyptian name, and Asar is the Egyptian name. So Geb, as being approachable, yeah, he's pretty approachable. He could be very. He could have a temper against the unrighteous soul. He can, but he, for the most part, he is benevolent to approach. Now, mind you, that Geb in some stories he was an unruly prince, and downright a seditious prince. And there was one occasion where he transforms himself. He takes the image of a boar, so a boar, Boar, and he goes and eats the eye of Ra. And then when Shu confronted on him, he lied. But his lies were, he was his, basically, Shu and everyone saw right through his lies as the eye of Ra was bleeding through his skin. So, and during the 30th dynasty, around 400 BCE, Geb becomes even more unruly and seditious, and he rebels against his father Shu, seizes the throne, and forces himself on Tefnut, and forces Tefnut, his own mother, to become his queen. Then there is even, Geb's his road to kingship, on his way to kingship after Shu abdicates the throne, and after winning a huge battle against Apophis, Shu returns to find his palace overtaken. So he basically gets out of Dodge real quick and leaves his throne behind. So now Geb takes over the throne after a huge nasty ass storm that pretty much kept everyone in place inside the palace for about 9 days. So Geb found out stories about the accomplishments of Ra and Shu. And upon hearing there was a treasure, a living snake, a uraeus, and the uraeus basically protects the pharaoh and protects the gods, where it's like Shu was wearing his headdress, and it's a snake that can belch out fire on its enemies. So Geb wanted it. He wanted it for himself. His father's headdress, he wanted it. However, the uraeus was sealed away in a treasure, in this hidden treasure chest. But him and his followers eventually find this uraeus. However, when they released the uraeus began spitting fire like Godzilla. I mean, all the followers that were there were pretty much burnt to ash. Geb was himself really hurt, really bad, and he was end up gonna die, but it was only through the Ra's wig that Geb was able to be healed of his injuries. I know it sounds like this neat Dungeons and Dragons adventure. But Geb becomes a good king, and he becomes successful, and he takes the land that Apophis has taken for himself, and he takes back the land, and he saves the so many from Apophis. So, anyways, it is also said that Geb also fights Apophis. Or but again, that's more of a later story. But I wanted to include that so you don't say, oh, by the way, you forgot this story, because I wouldn't be a good teacher if I didn't include different stories. Geb also was known for his healing powers. And he also healed the sting of scorpions. So he was recognized for his healing power and for him healing the stings of scorpions. So, what else can I talk about this god? Geb is a god of stability. Geb is the god of strength. Geb is the god of agriculture. Geb is Lord of the Green. Geb is the dry earth as well as the fertile earth. Geb is the god of he is the power where he can help you ground out extra energy, so you can ground out, after doing rituals or your anger or your sadness, that you can push it into the earth, and you can ask Geb to transform this. So he is Father Earth. As you know, how we call some gods as Mother Earth, he is Father Earth. Geb this is a beautiful picture. Is an ancient god, so of course, I mean, he's pretty ancient. What else can I say about him? I've been talking about for 30 minutes, and usually I do these presentations for longer, but I've just been so tired and so overworked. Now, the pharaohs would say that I am the heir, I am the ordained heir of the god Geb. The heir, I mean H-E-I-R, I inherited the throne. Basically, divine right to rule. That Geb, they say that Geb has refreshed them and caused me to ascend to the power of Pharaoh and to the throne. Now, there was one ceremony to mark the ascension of the new Pharaoh, so one of the ceremonies was to mark this inauguration of the new Pharaoh, the new king, was to release 4 wild geese to the 4 different directions, so that this ceremony would bring good luck to the Pharaoh. During the Ptolemaic period, Geb becomes identified with the Greek god of time, Kronos, Kronos. So the Greek god, the Greek titan Kronos, I should say. Now, it is thought that the worship of Geb originated around Heliopolis during the pre-dynastic period. Now, another Egyptian god of the earth is Aker, A-K-E-R. So he's another Egyptian god of the earth. Now, the god is Geb is the god of food. It is through him that vegetation grows. So, food that you can give offerings to Geb: grain, beer, wheat, bread, cereal, milk, can't go wrong with sweets, bakery goods. Think of cakes, cookies, muffins, cupcakes, fruit, dried fruit, granola mix, granola bars. Again, some of this is newer offerings. Think of pancakes, waffles, oatmeal. So those are just some of the things that you can give Geb in these modern times. So another name for Apophis, I was trying to find the other name in my head, and the other name is Apep. So the other name for Apophis is Apep. Sometimes, as when it comes to the crown, he's actually wearing, sometimes even seen a combination of of different crowns, like the white crown and the Atef crown, and so that's some interesting information. What you doing, Miss Kitty? What you doing? What you got? Oh, you got a toy. You got yourself a cool toy, huh? Yeah, there's Miss Kitty. She got herself a toy. And she's gonna play. We love cats, don't we? So anyways, I do recommend these, Carol, Nut and Geb, the Anubis Oracle, and this, the Kemetic Tarot by Michael Coles. So check it out. I do recommend you buy it. It's really worth it. You'll enjoy it. I know you will. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Sorry it's not longer. I've just been tired, but I wanted to get this out to y'all. It's just my dedication of doing this and also giving me a sense of normalcy. So I do not have a presentation. I mean, I can't think of it. A Patreon account. These videos are free, so feel free to use that money you would give to me to give to different charities, animal charities. Next time you go buy some cat food, buy a little bit of food for like the animals that they have there, like at Petco or PetSmart, or donate an extra $1 or $2. Be good to the earth, be good to yourself, be good to animals. Think adoption as your first option. Don't shop, adopt. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Feel free to hit me up on the comments. I'd like to know what you think of Geb. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, and do hit the subscribe button because it helps my channel grow and it lets me know I'm doing a good job, and that's a good way to pay me. Hit that like button and let me know what you think. Share this video with your friends and family and on your Facebook. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. As always, blessed be, right, Miss Kitty? You're the star of the show.